Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Get Ahead Challenge. 5 days to change your money situation for the better and set yourself up for financial success. I am so excited you made the next step to learning what it takes to really get ahead financially, because we are all capable, regardless of where we came from. We can change where we're going and really achieve financial freedom, whatever that looks like to you. So I am very excited to have you here. So let's dive in. Today we are talking about how to set yourself up for success. So first and foremost, you may be wondering, well, why should I care about my finances? And that's a fair question, depending on how your life has been thus far. Well, I'm going to share why you should care about your finances. Having financial freedom, having money in the bank, having a savings can change your life. It can ease the burden of a financial hardship. So if you have felt this before, if something unexpected has come up and really caused you to go into debt or to use what little savings you had or required you to ask somebody for help, that's not a fun situation. That's not a fun experience. It's very draining, very stressful, and very negative. So having a savings can help ease that burden. A savings can also help you get out of debt. Debt, especially in the form of credit cards and personal loans, can be very expensive. And unfortunately, the United States, everyone, just about, has some form of debt, whether it be student loans, mortgages, car loans, credit cards, whatever the case may be. Debt is a serious problem, but caring about your finances and having a savings can help you get out of debt. Having a savings can allow you to live comfortably in retirement. We don't want to work all our lives and then pass away. There has to come a time where we can retire and do the things we want to do, knowing that our children, if we decide to have them, are taken care of for the most part, or that we have set them up for success as well. So a savings can ensure you do that. A savings can also open doors to new things, to new opportunities, new experiences. You can travel. You can try different things. You can experience what life has to offer if you care about your finances and start working towards a savings. Ultimately, though, you want the freedom to do what you want when you want. And having a savings and caring about your finances can ensure you have that freedom. All right, well, I know what you're thinking. Sure, that's all nice. It sounds great. I agree with you, Rhea. But how can I get ahead and build that savings so I can be financially free if I'm fill in the blank here? Living paycheck to paycheck, overspending, deep in debt, so much student loans. Great question. But I want to tell you that you can get ahead, even if you're broke, even if you're living paycheck to paycheck, even if you're an overspender, even if you are drowning in debt. There is a way out, and it all starts with your mindset and, most importantly, a budget. Now, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you make or don't make. No matter what, everyone needs a budget. Now, you don't have to make it crazy, extensive, intricate, intense. No. You can create a simple budget plan as long as it has these 4 components. Component number 1, income. So I recommend you create a monthly budget. That will include your monthly income. So whatever your take-home pay is each month, you will want to include that. More importantly, you will want to start with that. Now, I'm not just talking income from your primary job. Any income you get on a consistent monthly basis should be included in your budget. It should be the first thing you list out. Component number 2, expenses. So these will be your monthly expenses, and you will want to start with those fixed expenses. So the things that don't change much month over month. So for example, rent, utilities, cell phone, cable, things like that you know come up every month, that you know have to get paid for. Whether the amount varies a little or not, you'll want to include those. The second type of expense you will want to include is your variable or discretionary expenses. So for example, groceries. That can change week over week depending on what you need. Going out to eat. If you are constantly getting fast food or going out to dinner, you'll want to include that in your budget. Gas. So those types of expenses that can change month over month depending on your activities, you will want to include those in your budget. Component number 3, debts. So you'll want to at least start with your minimum debt payments. Those must be taken care of at minimum, so they need to be included in your budget. And lastly, component number 4, savings. So whatever amount you can afford to transfer to savings on a monthly basis should be included in your budget. Now, once you have all of that information figured out, you can see if your income is covering all of your expenses and spending, all of your minimum debt payments, and whatever savings amount you believe you can afford. If your income does cover all of that, you are in a great position. If not, you have 2 choices. You can increase your monthly income or decrease your monthly expenses. I recommend increasing your income because income growth is infinite, right? There's no cap on the amount of money you can earn. Yes, it requires more time, more hours, more discipline, but you don't have a limit on what you can earn. Now, you can decrease your expenses as well, but you can only cut back so much. Certain expenses must be paid for. So think about that if your income does not currently cover everything it needs to cover. If it does, let's talk about your savings. You will want to separate your savings from your checking. So at minimum, you should have a checking account and a savings account. I recommend creating a no-touch savings account. So if it's linked to your checking, that's fine, as long as you don't touch it. If you are constantly tapping into your savings, you may want to consider opening an account with a different bank. This savings should be at a bank separate from your checking unless you are capable of not touching it. And there are plenty of options available, which we will get into later in this challenge, that will make your life easier and make it additionally easier for you to save. Now, your savings should be hard enough to get to so you don't overspend, but quick enough to get to in case of emergencies. Ideally, you will never want to touch the savings, but stuff happens. We've all been there, and sometimes we just need our savings. So that's definitely something to think about when you are shopping around for savings accounts. Next, you'll want to get automatic transfers set up. So you're going to refer back to your budget for an amount to transfer to your savings on a consistent basis. Now, I will say that the transfer amount you decide on should be small enough not to miss. So if you are saving more than you technically should, you're going to end up touching that savings because you don't have enough to cover your expenses. So I really want you to think through an amount that's safe for you to transfer to savings on a consistent basis, and that's small enough in number so that you don't miss it. Now, automatic transfers can come in two different forms. You can have it direct deposited from your paycheck directly into savings, or you can have your entire direct deposit go into your checking account and have automatic transfers out of checking into your savings. Completely up to you. I personally recommend direct deposit directly from your paycheck to your savings account. That way there's no additional step on your part. Once you get paid, savings is already taken care of. So ultimately, you want to set it and forget it. Now, if your transfer amount is small enough not to miss, it's easy for you to set it and forget it, pretend like it's not there, we're not touching it. Now that you have your budget created, your transfers into savings set up, it's time to start thinking about your goals. What do you want out of life? What can finances help you achieve so that you are happier all around? Creating goals gives you something to work towards. It makes it worth it cutting back and not buying the pair of shoes that you want so bad. It gives you something to look forward to and something to stay disciplined for. Now, your goals should be short-term and long-term. So you want to think about what you want to achieve within the next year, but also what you want to achieve in the next 5 years. Your actions now can have a direct impact on both short-term and long-term goals. Write your goals down. Studies have been shown that those who write their goals down are more likely to achieve them than those who don't. And get to the why behind your goals. Yes, your goals are written down, they're great, but why do you want them? What will your life look like when you achieve that goal? Getting to the why behind your goals will keep you disciplined when you don't want to be. Trust me on that. And lastly, put action towards your goals. Get to the why, but then get to the how. How can you reach these goals that you've set for yourself? What can you do? Where can you cut back? How can you make more money? What will help you reach these goals? Really think about what actions you can put so that you can achieve your goals. Now, I want to share with you how focusing on finances and getting ahead changed my life for the better. So I will just say this. I define city girl. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas, but the second I graduated high school, I wanted to live the big city life. I wanted to move to Los Angeles, California, and really enjoy myself. So, in order for me to do that, I had to get into school. So I got into school in LA and lived there throughout my entire college years. So 18 to 21, I was in LA, going to school, living the life of what I thought my dreams were. I was partying, whether it was at a dorm, a house party, at the club, I was out and about. Nighttime events, I was there. Laker games, Clipper games, I was there. Shopping, of course, you're in LA, Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, spending money. Beach trips and travel, even if I couldn't afford it, I was out and about. And what did that add up to? No savings. And you know the funny thing is, the whole time I was studying finance. I was working to obtain my finance degree while I was out and about any chance I could spending money. Well, then tragedy struck. My dad passed away, and that resulted in me moving back to Austin. While I didn't realize it at the time, it truly was a blessing. When I moved back home, that really meant minimal rent and no utilities. I was now living with my mom, and I contributed to rent on a monthly basis, but I didn't pay for utilities. The rent amount was very minimal, just enough to help her out. A significantly cheaper cost of living. Austin is 10 times cheaper than LA. I think, in fact, the only city more expensive than LA is New York. I also had the opportunity to make more money. I had a lot more time on my hands, a lot of free time, and instead of lounging around, taking it easy, I decided to really do what I could to get ahead. I got a second job. I researched how to start your own business. I just started doing things to help me get ahead. I really started thinking differently after my dad passed away. And I had no friends around to spend my money with. Most of my friends had gone away to school as well. So when I moved back to Austin, they really weren't there. All that to say, it added up to major savings for me and the start of City Girl Savings. Moving back to Austin and really seeing the difference in lifestyle specific to finances, I really thought about how getting ahead can change your life. And that's where City Girl Savings sparked. I wanted to share my experiences with being a city girl and spending, trying to enjoy life, but also understanding the importance of saving, of getting ahead, of doing the things you want, making the sacrifices, and being able to truly enjoy yourself and not worry about it. So nowadays, almost 5 years later, I am in the best financial position I've ever been in. All my debt is paid off. I have a down payment on a house saved, just waiting for the perfect house to show its face. I started saving for a second home in California. My goal is to have a house in Austin as my primary residence, but to also have a second vacation home in Palm Springs. And I just started saving for it. I'm still budgeting and tracking my spending to this day, and I work directly with women to help them do the same. So yes, getting ahead financially does not happen overnight. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it does. But when you do finally get ahead, when you finally see the importance of saving money and setting yourself up for success, your life will truly be better than ever. And I am a living testament to that. So, now it's time for you to take some action. I want you to create a simple budget with the 4 components I shared with you. I also want you to open a new savings account. This will be your no-touch savings. Once that savings account is open, get your automatic transfers set up. And remember, make sure it's an amount that's small enough for you not to miss. And lastly, start thinking about your goals. What do you want out of life? Write those things down and think about how you can achieve them. All right, ladies. Well, I will see you on day 2 of the Get Ahead Challenge.